as I was exposed to these teachings at a very young age, the first thing I would always want to do was learn the history about it, you know. And in those days, of course, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have these things. This knowledge wasn't really accessible. So the first time I kind of heard about the teachings when I got to high school, I went right to the library to try to find information. At the time, I was trying to find information on Brother Clarence 13X, because that's what my cousin had exposed me to on that particular day when he was teaching me some of the lessons. But they didn't have anything on him in the library, right? But I told the librarian, you had to get these index cards. And that was the first time I went to the library, brother, on my own, but I was determined. I said, I'm gonna find something on this thing. And so he had mentioned Master Muhammad, Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So naturally, I was able to find some information. There's a small tidbit of information about them. And I went home, and my mother and father had the ebony encyclopedias, and I just opened that up for the first time. You see if I can find anything about, Nation of Islam, Muslims, teachings, and found even in the World Encyclopedia, found the little paragraph. Then that's about 1983 on W.D. Farad, little itty-bitty paragraph. And brother, I must have read that thing a trillion times till I knew it by heart. Wow. And so I always wanted to know more about the history. So I was really thirsting for the history. And just going throughout my years, as a young Muslim, I didn't see anyone truly address it, specifically from the 5% Side. That's the first book that I wrote. So I wanted the world to know about the work that inspired so many of us to put us on this course of knowledge. And so I independently did it. And a big influence on me, as far as writing, came from Brother Dr. Wesley.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He was a writer. And I remember when I first met him and we got together and, started dealing with Islam. And I remember the next day he came back with a paper that he wrote on what we discussed. And I said, damn, brother, what you I wrote an article. An article. And I was like, damn. I said, in the culture of the 5%ers, you got to wait a long time before you can write any article. You got to know all the lessons and everything by heart. But I still had to say he's always been a researcher and a writer from the very beginning, and a very meticulous writer. Very profound, as we already know. So much of it from that side, I was like, you know what? Eventually, inshallah, I will write something. But I was waiting for somebody else to do it. Let me see. Somebody else going to do it. Let me wait. Somebody else going to do it. Somebody else going to do it. I'm still waiting. Somebody else going to do it. I was like, you know what? I guess I'm going to have to do it.
Yes, sir.
So
yes,
then
sir.
I got labor intensive with it, and I just started writing. But my style of writing, was really patterned after Brother Dr. Wesley. So the way that I write my books, I write them as documentaries, or anthologies. So it's pretty much transcriptions from existing interviews like what you're doing. I transcribe it word for word, exactly from that person. And then you can hear it from their eyes. And I think that is great because we got a multitude of people from all these different perspectives. And as you're reading through the documentary, as you watch a documentary, you kind of pick up on the essence of everybody's soul and everybody's, courage, admiration, ambition, love, emotion. So it kind of take you through that whole course where now you're spiritually intertwined with what you're reading or studying, right? Or watching, if it's a documentary. So that's my style of writing, is more so from a researcher perspective. And so I did the books In the Name of Allah, History of Clarence 13X and the 5%ers, Volume 1 and Volume 2. Then I did another book with one of the co-founders of the 5%ers, Brother John 37X, or Brother Abu Shahid, who was the elder of the 5% Nation at the time, who I recently passed a few years ago. We did a book together called TNT, The Naked Truth, from the gold mine of Abu Shahid, the elder of the Nation of Gods and Earth. So that's the 3 books that I did over on that end. And then of course I had my thirst and quest for the history of the Nation of Islam. I was always there. And I said, well, the most thing that captivated me, go back to again, to being in my bedroom when I was young, trying to look for the history on who? W.D. Farad.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I wanted it on him. And so that always intrigued me. So I went, researched deep, and I found, many existing articles on the early history of the Nation of Islam. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I don't mean to stop you. I see all your comments. Thank you very much. It's a love you always showing me, brother. Thank you you all for your support. On Master Fire Muhammad, point number 12, you all, the Allah team, I want to ask how that came about as well.
Mhm.
But specifically on your research, how are you able to defend point number 12 so well?
Well, I mean, I don't say I mean the best defender of point number 12 is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Yes, sir, we know that.
Number one. Then of course the brother who really, and that book is called The Truth of God.
Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Right? And well, it was two different titles for it. But that book is written by brother, and the book that I gave to you is by
Yes, sir.
brother Dr. Wesley Muhammad,
Yes, sir.
who
Yes, sir.
again, that came about through Brother Minister saying that we needed to be able to defend point number 12.
Right.
Right. And I remember Brother Wesley, we had graduated from Morehouse, and he was like, you know, I'm going to the University of Michigan and to get his master's in Islamic studies. You know, and initially I was like, wow, really? He's like, yeah, Islamic studies. Then he would go on to get his doctorate. But he said that the main thing and the main purpose of him doing it, and he's a very adamant brother. He's a brother that has a predetermined ideal, and he'll see it all the way through. That's why Allah has blessed him to be such a due diligent researcher. He said, Brother Wakeel, my aim and purpose is to prove to the academic world the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, that the black man is God, that Allah came in the person of Master Father Muhammad.
Allahu Akbar.
Now, brother, this is probably before he even took his first course at the University of Michigan. And that was a period of time, so many years, that he was dedicated to that, whereas he sacrificed on some levels his potential career in the world of academics as far as being a professor and teaching, because his dissertation was on pretty much the black man being God and the Prophet Muhammad having the vision of Allah in human form. So this met with resistance from some of the scholars in that world who also had Islamic alliances, because in that world, you're supposed to be strictly academic, strictly professional. You're really not allowed for your religion to cloud anything. Everything should be about the empirical data and the research, right? And the ability to present the point. Which brother went against all odds in his dissertation. He published his dissertation. Yes, and you get it from brother, you know, The Truth of God. And he has videos and dealing with point number 12. And so he put that together and he defended his dissertation, because I remember that was going to be a big thing. And he passed overwhelmingly, you know, reluctantly now, because nobody wanted to pass him on that, you know. Well, some did, you know, some had a great appreciation and value for it. However, in that process, he now, I want to say, kind of was blackballed as a result. And this was all before the minister, I don't even know if he cool with me saying all this, but this is how the history happened. This is before the minister, before Brother Wesley was called to Chicago.
Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
We was just out here broke, you know, whatever, out here, still on the mission we was in college.
Yes, sir.
Sharing information, loving this information, and just dying to present it at any cost, whether it be our lives or anything else. Then you see a brother just shared a video where they was talking greasy about the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan and Nation Islam, teaches Honorable Elijah Muhammad in New York. And we assembled a crew and we went up there and dealt with it on the stage and presented it. And Brother Wesley just tore the house down in every debate that we had. And yeah, and so we was talking and we were like, yeah, brother, you know, we were trying to figure out like, how could we help, you know, the nation and the minister, you know, it's kind of, we out here, you know, we just like mavericks. We mavericks.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
We coming to defend the teaching, whoever going to help and assist. And we was like, you know, you should write the minister, you know, write the minister, let him know. We was talking. He was like, man, you think? It's like, yeah, brother, you know, write the minister. Da, 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 da. And I don't know if he ever told this, but he writes the minister. And so he's like, I sent it off, right? Then I don't remember how much time elapsed. Now, mind you, we didn't have any contact with Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan. And next thing I know, I get a call, it's Wesley, he excited. Guess what? What? The minister called. Like, what? What? Allahu Akbar. Wow. And, the minister just gave him wise counsel. And, it's like a brother told me, one of the elders in the 5%. He said, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. I guess brother did a work, he was ready, and the teacher appeared in the angelic form of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And the rest is history. The brother still beating the pavement with this knowledge and out there riding for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, defending point number 12. And I say all that to say, that's my brother that's an expert on that.
Yes, sir.
I don't want to necessarily do a disservice.
Yes, sir.
In the research as it relates to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and brother Dr. Wesley Muhammad that researched the subject matter on it and shared it with us. And I believe, if I remember correctly, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan wanted him to teach on point number 12. And of course, he had the partnership with Brother Minister Ishmael, of course, our beloved student minister, national assistant, to Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Mm-hmm.
And man, how can I remember? I'm getting old. And that's when we had the workshop, point number 12.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Was Brother Dimitri involved in that? Yes, I think. So, and we had that, that's on YouTube, that's on video. So anything with point number 12, which is that we believe and teach that Allah came in a person, a master of Muhammad, the long-awaited Mahdi of the Muslims and the Messiah of the Christians. And, but brother, I know I was long-winded with that, but that was inspired through the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who of course was inspired by Allah and the Christ, most honorable Elijah Muhammad. So Brother Wesley has that, and that's always a constant duty. So that's something that we always teach.
Praise be to Allah. Okay, thank you, and thank you all for watching, and thank you for your honesty and great transparency and great stories, Brother Wakeel. Brother Wakeel Allah. My next question for you is, how did your parents feel about you accepting the teachings?
I had a very great, powerful father, the great Edward G. Robinson, aka Hugo.
Yes, sir.
AKA Yigga.
Yes, sir.
As I was telling you, each block has a Duke. My father was like the OG.
Okay, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He was an OG, my father.
Beautiful.
And so his thing was, I guess I was 13, 14. He was already putting me on the knowledge. He used to make me watch 60 Minutes every Sunday. He would share, my father had a lot of knowledge about the world, dealing with Africa and things. He would share with that. And he had a Holy Quran, had like the African machete. And he encouraged us, to learn. He wasn't Muslim. But when I became Muslim, he was cool with it because at the end of the day, I was a good child for the most part.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wasn't no sucker or nothing, but was good and recognized the game early on and be like, okay, I'm with my mother and father. So I always looked at them as like, even at a young age, okay, these are the people responsible for me. These are the people that I love. These are the people I can trust. Just like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said about Brother Farrakhan, that's how I felt about my parents. Whenever tell you don't go, they tell you stay away.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And they never told me to not deal with the knowledge at a young age. But this is how I really became exposed. Okay, this is revealing some hidden teachings.
Yes, sir.
And as I mentioned, Brother Minister Abdul Kareem Muhammad was the East Coast Regional Minister at the time, and he lived in Plainfield, of course. His daughter, whose name is Crester Muhammad, she would come and visit us, you know, because she lived right down the street. So we all had a tight knit community in a tight knit neighborhood. So we all would go to one another's houses, right? And I remember when I told her I accepted Islam, right? She's like, "Oh, all praise due to Allah, Allahu Akbar," right? And me being naive to whatever, I said, "Yeah, you know, I'm with the gods." She's like, "What?" I said, "Yeah, the 5% nation." Brother, she almost literally cried. She's like, "Oh no," because you know we had a reputation, you know, and that's what my mother said. My mother said, "Now she did say something. You know what? The 5%." And all she would tell me is, "Those are the ones that killed that bus driver. I'll never forget that. They killed the bus driver." And it's funny, I didn't find out until 5 years ago what she was talking about. Part of my research, I said, "Oh, this is what she was talking about." But you know, things were happening with youth and stuff like that in that age. And many of us being juveniles became what you would call juvenile delinquents. And those are the ones that had to be reached. And as Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan said in the lesson, "What make rain, hail, snow, and earthquakes?"
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Talk about the sun and moon having attractive power on our planet, how the sun and moon draw the water up, you know, from our planet into the Earth's rotation, which is called gravitation, to a fine mist at the neck of the high.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
As the water, he said, as the water ascends higher to the sun is purifying the water. It's purifying the water.
Yes, sir.
Then it drops it back down. That's how we got the knowledge, many of us, in the 5%ers in the Nation of Islam. And I had a brother, Brother Minister Belton Muhammad, aka they used to call him Faraj Savior. And he became the minister of New Brunswick, Muslim in '85. But he's an OG. He recently passed away a few years ago. And he said, you know, the Nation of Islam, for many of us, he said it was likened to life. He said, look how life is formed. And I believe it's Surah 96, brother. Now it's coming to me from these elders.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's about the clot. And he says, look how life starts from a clot. He said, ugly, ain't it? When you look at it, it's ugly. It's a blood clot, real ugly, you know. Then over a period of months, Allah transforms that clot into, again, the perfect manifestation of power and force, which is God, here on the planet Earth, which is the black man and woman.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right? And that's how we got the knowledge. Allah, arm, leg, arm, head.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
A-L-L-A-H, Allah, the physical reality. That's how we would get it. There's some aspects of the Nation of Islam, the 5%ers.
Yes, sir.
So they were cool with it, my parents, because I was always, you know, well-behaved, courteous, and respectful. And it probably helped to keep me out of trouble in some regard. I could have gotten in plenty of trouble coming where I came up with some levels. But, you know, I believe Allah, they say Allah take care of the babies and the fools.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, you know, with the help of Allah, you know, we pull through. Praise be to Allah. So yeah, they were beautiful about it. And I wouldn't change them out for the world. Honorable Edward G. Robinson, Honorable Susie Robinson. Praise be to
beautiful.
Allah.
Praise be to Allah. Okay. Wonderful. My next question for you, sir, is how was it leading up to the Million Man March, and how did the Million Man March personally impact you?
Oh, brother. I became registered in the Nation of Islam in '92. So, and that's when I said, okay, I'm ready, because I just graduated college. Okay, the college life is over. Let me just fall in. And falling in, you know, me, Brother Johnny, Brother Leroy, Brother Wesley, Brother Brian, Brother Jackie, Brother Bernard, you know, many of the, I guess we older now, yeah. We would work day in and day out, you know, a soldier day in and day out, soldering in different projects in Atlanta, soldiering on the campus, everywhere, Decatur, College Park, the Bluff, you name it, wherever we can go. Brother, I don't know how many shoes I wore out. Right? I don't know how many suits I bled through in the pavement, sweated through.
Sir. Yes, sir.
The collars I killed, and just,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But I say all that to say, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan had came to, and I'm just really talking from an Atlanta perspective, he had came to the Omni. I think that was in 1990. When he said, add it up.
Yes, sir.
And he
Yes,
did
sir.
that lecture, add it up. And another brother that helped inspire us here in Atlanta was Brother Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. Brother Dr. Khalid, that's who became my mentor the first week I was in Atlanta. Because I was freshly removed from New Jersey, and now I'm in Atlanta attending Morehouse College. Then I meet Brother William 2X and Brother Malik. Brother William 2X is now known as Brother Shakur. He was our Southern Regional Secretary. And then he went to, Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan gave him the name Shakur and brought him up to Chicago to make him the Central Region Secretary.
Okay, yes, sir. I'm familiar. I'm familiar.
Right.
Yes, sir.
And Brother Malik is Dr. Khaled's son, but they look nothing alike because Malik is light skinned with waves. And I'm the 5%er, and I'm trying to teach all these people on campus. And maybe after a week or two, then I see the Muslims. I'm like, oh, there they go. See what I'm telling y'all? Those the brothers right there, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I meet them, and they came to my dorm and everything. We chopped it up, and we was there basically holding rallies. And Brother Minister Khaled come to visit, and just blew my mind, brother. I was scared to death because I love the Muslims, but I had a fear of the FOI because the FOI, they would handle business. If you violated the FOI, they would handle their business. And I don't even gotta say imagine it, because here you are living proof.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I don't remember what year was that when your father was in Mayfair Mansions, 89? 80?
I'm not gonna guess the wrong year, so I'm not gonna throw you.
Well, as we saw them on CNN,
yes, sir. Yes,
they
sir.
were handling business and cleaning up the community. I would see the same thing in New Jersey, except that it wasn't recorded. I'm like, oh, these brothers mean business. So I'm up on campus, and here comes this white stretch limo, Mercedes Benz, rides right up in front of my dorm. I stay in Robert Hall. Brother Minister Abdul Malik, the great Minister Abdul Malik. Pardon me, Abdul Malik Saeed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Formerly known as Brother Minister Tony Muhammad, who was a very powerful brother in Atlanta too. Always powerful as he is today.
Yes, sir.
And he was rolling with College Strong, but he was driving the Benz. I don't know if you remember this. He was driving the stretch Benz. And everybody in the dorm was like, hey man, look at this, look at this. And they run out, they see the stretch white Mercedes Benz. And out pops a man wearing this white like dashiki get up uniform with the hat. And I'm looking at the window, I said, oh, that's that brother Dr. Khaled. I know about him through the Final Call and through some of the tapes. I was like, oh, I said, everything is racing through my mind because the FOI is coming in the dorm. So first thing I'm thinking, like, oh man, I done ran my mouth too much. Now they coming to deal with me, right?
Yes, sir.
We on the second floor. Brothers is coming from this direction, and they come because there's two entrances. They're coming from both directions, and we in the middle. We like, yo. So I'm like, we out in the hallway. But the cop was like, who is the 5%er brother? Wakeel? Right there. He was like, peace, God. And I remember they said, wait a minute. It was a brother named Juice from DC. He said, wait a minute. Because they don't know who Colin is. They don't know nothing about really that, right? Because they're all lost founds, if you will. All they know about Islam is what I'm trying to tell them.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We freshmen, fresh out of high school. It was like 2 weeks into our freshman year at Morehouse. And he said to Colin, he said, you believe what Wakeel believe? He said, because Wakeel believe he's God. My heart went like, whoo! My heart went down to my feet. I said, I know I'm about to get mashed out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I mean, calling myself God. Here come the Muslims. Colin was like, for a split second, stopped. He was like, he is God. And I was like, what? Now, I believe I was God since I was in 9th grade.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
now, to hear from this man, I'm shocked because
Yes,
all
sir.
kinds of
Yes,
stuff is
sir.
breaking through my mind. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm kind of relieved. Anybody had a Bible? And brother, I wasn't about the Bible at this day and time. Khaled really put me on to that. He took out the Bible. He read Psalms 82. Hear all gods, children of the Most High God. And I said, okay, that's in the Bible. I have no idea. But that seed, it was me, brother, like I said, me, the only one around at that time, because Wesley wasn't there yet. Wesley and brother Saad, aka brother Burvey, formerly brother Burvey, wasn't there yet. It was really me and brother Johnny, the great Johnny Audible, that, part of the lot team that worked with us, J Electronica and everything, the whole operation out of Detroit.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That was at Morehouse, and brother Leroy. And I'm probably forgetting some brothers, but that set the seed. So we started rolling with brother Khaled and brother Minister Tony. The great brother Torre Muhammad of Chicago was there with us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And brother Jackie. And this is before even brother Bernard Kushmir got there.
Yes, sir. When you say brother Jackie, you're referring to light-skinned brother Jackie.
Right, the great lieutenant, brother Jackie Muhammad,
yes, sir.
Who passed on. Peace and blessings of Allah be upon him.
Yes, sir.
It was brother Jackie who I recited to get my ex to in the basement, number 15 at 880 Martin Luther King.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Brother Jackie was very influential in the junior FY in Chicago, training us as well. And his sister, I'm in the theater, so acting, and his sister was direct most of the plays, and my mother was in, and so I grew up around him and his family. So may Allah be pleased with them both. Yes, sir.
Right. And that set the seed for us, and like I said, officially, I got down in the temple of Muslim 15 at 92. And so all of us kind of converged. We formed like the God Squad.
Okay.
We called a lot of team calls it the God Squad. And we started going throughout the community. And initially we got prepared after the minister did the Omni, let us, what's that called? With the Added Up, he came back to speak at the Georgia Dome. So in 1992, then he did Stop the Killing. So he started to Stop the Killing tours, and he spoke again in Atlanta and many other places in the city. So he prepared the momentum for the Million Man March. And I remember when he first said it, I'm like Peter, brother, on some levels. When when I'm like, coming in as a 5%er, you be skeptical. I remember my first FOI class, and I know I'll be all over the place, but as a 5%er, when I joined the FOI, I'll never forget my first FOI class, because I was like, oh my God, what have I signed up for? Because I was saying I was God, but in this class, we was going to prove it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And we put goals and objectives in front of us. I was like, ain't no way we're going to meet that. So I had to see the doubt. And the FOI kind of showed me that whatever we put our mind to is going to happen because of the brotherhood, because of the unity factor. That was the piece that was missing. The unity of the FOI. Once I joined the FOI, felt the unity, and my brother ain't heavy, as they say. Man, yes, brother, there's nothing that we couldn't do. And we had to fill the dome in 92. And the dome was brand new. And I would have sit 50,000, something, 70,000. And the World Series was going on at the same time. And we filled the Georgia Dome. We had more people in the Georgia Dome than they had at the World Series.
Yes, sir. Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar. So Stop the Killing, the minister really set the tone in the 90s. And we got prepared for the Million Man March. And all we did was soldier every day preparing for the Million Man March. Shout out to brother Minister Van Muhammad too, and Captain Sadiq.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And of course, eventually Sister Dr. Ava came here, brother Minister Jamil, and Minister Rockman was here, brother Khaled, Mr. Tony, your father. So praise be to Allah for all these powerhouses in Atlanta. And we was working with at the First Iconium, as we do even today.
Yes, sir.
We still have that relationship. That's where we had the Million Man March, the LOC, the Local Organizing Committee. We organized every week. And when we got to the Million Man March, it was heaven, you know. And again, this is what I was going to say. When the minister said, I'm going to bring 1 million men to DC, I said, damn, what if we don't do it?
Yes,
you know what I mean? What if we can't? Then to see the doubt, brother. But then later I heard him say that. It came out my mouth and I was like, whoa, right? Then he said, now we had to reach out, right? And make it happen and do it. And brother, you know, we were blessed to get our people up out there, you know, and it was a great sea of humanity, of Black men, responsibility. And that was a day I'll never forget. We beat the odds to make me, you know, I became a true believer. I said, man, okay, I don't think there's nothing but the minister can't do with the elbow of Allah. So we beat the odds. Instead of 1 million, we got 2 million.
Yes, sir.
We were out there early, brother, like 5 a.m. We got out there. So we see the crowd and everything grow. And it was beautiful love, brother, a sea of love. The Black man greeting one another in peace and love and respect, and us taking our pledges under the direction of an Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to atone, you know, for our actions.
Yes, sir.
As for ourselves and our women and children. And that impacted the world. And that was the largest gathering, I believe, in the world, especially in North America. And I remember even President Clinton left DC because of the march. Everybody left. They canceled everything. Because the minister said, I remember he said he wanted to do it like on a work day, on a Monday. He didn't want to have it on a weekend. He specifically wanted it on like a work day, you know, where people could sacrifice and come. And that's what we did. And Brother Minister gave a beautiful message, you know. And that's when I learned the humility, more aspects of his humility, because he could have really took that moment for himself. Not really just for himself, but even for us in the nation. He could be like, oh, y'all come join the temple right now. Fly to Allah, fill out your letter, write your letter.
Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
But him and his wisdom and teaching, again, all the human families of the planet Earth, right? He teaching all the human families of the planet Earth. And so he laid out the foundation just for that, to drop that seed. And we see how it's manifesting today, how, inshallah, it will manifest in the future, be it the will of Allah. But it was a beautiful event. It was good to see, as a result of the work put in and the backing of Allah, it was good to see that vision become a reality. And on that day, we made a bond, and there still is a bond. Like Spike Lee made a movie about it, and many different marches came about. The Million Youth March, the Million Woman March,
yes, sir,
Million Mom March. Everybody got a million something. They had to thank Brother Farrakhan for that. Who was inspired by Allah and Honorable Allah's mom.
Praise be to Allah. And thank you very much, Dr. Leslie. I mean, Brother Wakeel Allah, for your time. Some people,
brother, that's my brother. We wanted to say.
Yes, sir. And I'm saying
some
people keep texting me. Some people keep texting me these questions. Thank you all, your responses. My sisters, both my sisters said powerful. Brother Maurice said this. Thank you very much. This is powerful. It's beautiful. And thank you all for people who write comments in a respectful way, not giving me instructions. Brother DeVisi wants you to know that he was there with you.
Look, definitely the great Dr. DeVisi, one of the most powerful brothers and most intelligent brothers there with us. Yes, sir.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. Now, out of all this time, music industry, coming from Jersey to Atlanta, traveling the world, has there ever been a time that you faced fear? And if so, how did you overcome that fear?
You know, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and then I heard this also said by Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan, said that if you have fear, pray to Allah to remove that fear.
Yes, sir.
Right? And I wasn't necessarily coming from the 5% tradition. We weren't necessarily prayerful in a sense, in the ritualistic sense.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But when I heard the minister say that I said, you know, any fear that I have left, because coming up as a Black man in America, you were at constant war. And then when you're coming into the knowledge of Islam, I mean, I always say that in order to be what I am, jokingly, we always say you gotta be half crazy because, meaning that you don't really have that much fear.
Yes, sir.
So I've already faced circumstances. As we are taught in the Nation of Islam, you will normally be tried once a year.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
in some
sir.
cases, brother, I say sometimes I'm at the point of no return. There's no turning back. I might have been tried and maybe not even realized it because I've accepted, my life, my death, my sacrifice, it's all for Allah, the Lord of all of the worlds. And like I said, that lesson, have you not learned that your word shall be bond, regardless to whom or what? It resonated. And when I heard Brother Farrakhan, as many of us has heard him in the wisdom of Honorable Elijah Muhammad, at a young age, that's it. You converted,
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
I became a convert, like almost on the spot that I
Yes, sir.
believe.
Yes, sir.
Like I said, and nothing has waned, nothing has changed. So, and I hope that would be for the remaining of my years, and I'll live and die the death of a Muslim. So that's one of my greatest desires.
Okay, wonderful. What do you do for fun, Brother Wakeel?
This right here, brother. What we do for fun, teaching in a sense has always been a job, but it's always fun. And you get so happy when you see somebody reclaim the knowledge of themselves.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You get so excited. I'm teaching, and I teach informally, so I teach a lot of people, just teaching them. Whether I'm on the phone teaching them or they write me or whatever, email me or through the internet. So I still teach people and get people off pork and stuff like that.
Yes,
So
sir.
I just had a young student that stopped eating pork and so excited and called me like, look, I ain't eat no pork in a month. And I'm doing good. And he'd be so happy, to the point, brother. He'd just be so full of joy. So Brother Minister said that at the great Minister Abdul Rahman Muhammad's janazah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If you wanna, as far as grieving for our brothers and sisters that have passed and transitioned, he said the best thing to deal with that is to do the work of the person that transitioned.
Yes,
Because
sir.
in the work, you will become connected, to the point that, like I said, brother, and like I said, his word is bond. I'm not speaking I'm not dealing with no hyperbole or anything when I say that I love what you're doing. And I'm like, because, brother, I was interviewing people and stuff like that. Like I said, I'm the kind of person that's like, you know what? Somebody else do it. Great. Fantastic. Now I'm like, oh, Brother Joshua's interviewing people. Allah, I might just do something else. Right? Brother Joshua's doing it. So when I see you,
can we talk about you? Can we talk about your podcast? Are you going to keep doing it? I mean, what's going on with you?
Everybody asked that, and yes, inshallah, we were trying to think of something around that, and I may do it around the fifth element. That's what I'm talking about. That the fifth element. So we may, because brother, when you look at the different podcasts, right, especially the ones that have national platforms and national attention, you'll see that it's usually other than us that has the podcast.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
People on there, and our people are looking crazy sometimes. Where you got to have somebody that genuinely, honestly loves the people to interview the people, and that's why I believe you are successful and you have the trust of the people because you have a track record, brother. You know what I mean? And you have a genuine love. You and I were on a plane together going to Savior's Day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You like Brother Wakeel? Come on the show, yes, sir. Yes, absolutely, yes, sir. Brother. So yes, I'm gonna do the podcast again. I probably have to do a video podcast. Yes, but there's other things too in the workings. But I will always deal with our history, interview our people, and try to inform our people through the experiences of others. Because life experience is the best experience, as they say. So yes, sir. In the podcast that I had the podcast in dealing with the 5%er show.
Yes, sir.
They have the Allah team show.
Yes, sir. I used to listen.
Yes, sir. Then we have the well, I started out the FOI. Like I did the book, The History of the FOI.
Yes, sir.
And the sister's like, well, why you ain't mentioning the sisters? Like I said earlier, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. You know, so I guess I have to deal with the sisters there.
Yes, sir.
I
Yes,
still
sir.
have that vision, like, oh, well, sisters over here, brothers over here, right?
Yes, sir.
So then I had the History of the Nation of Islam series, right? So I still have those, but then I have the Fifth Element, because we have discussions with a lot of brothers and sisters that have influence, fears of influence within entertainment, the entertainment industry.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
part of the Fifth Element is dealing with that. You know, yeah, it's so many brothers and sisters that have been influenced by the Nation of Islam, that claim Islam. And many of us were very excited and happy with this latest release of the album A Written Testimony
Yes,
by
sir.
the great Jay Electronica.
Yes, sir.
It was a powerful surprise that we had our great brother Jay-Z.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And some of the great things he said. And man, it's a powerful album.
Yes, sir.
And normally we are blessed to be involved in different processes in the creative process too, around that, because we all inspire one another. For that particular project, as you know, you had the great Imam Sultan, the brother Dr. Wasi Muhammad,
yes,
that
sir.
assisted the Arabic aspect of that. And this is all public, so I can speak on it, you know,
Yes,
because
sir.
it's all written about, and they themselves have already manifested this. Then you had our great sister, the great Beyonce, Queen Bey.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Then just the powerful, you know, the way the album opens up, it opens up, you know, with the star of the album.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Or the minister.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The children of Israel. And so it was great to hear, you know, Jay Electronica and Jay-Z manifest that wisdom, brother.
Praise be to Allah.
Allah put the pandemic on us all.
Yes, sir.
We
Yes,
all
sir. Yes, sir.
quarantine and just absorbing and feeding off the words,
Yes, sir.
of course, of the time and what must be done, and very instructional information that we're getting every Sunday from headquarters with the great brother minister Ishmael Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
So now I think we can put a lot of focus on the time, you know, what must be done. But many of these artists all have been inspired, even some that, like I said, you wouldn't even think were inspired, had Muslim roots. I remember, and I guess I can say this, I remember meeting 2 Chainz for the first time.
Yes,
We was building on something, and I was like, you know, because I thought, I said something to him, you know, we was at a function, that I thought he probably didn't want to hear. And I was like, wait a minute, because that was unusual, you know, like, oh, wait a minute. This is the first time I heard somebody may not be attracted to the information that's on the regular route. But then come to find out, he was like, nah, I am. He said, you know, my name is Bone.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Name. And he's like, my father, and he went into it. I was like, oh, okay. But this is before he would call himself 2 Chainz.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Like, Titty Boy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He had that album out. And that brother is powerful.
Absolutely. You know? Absolutely.
Nas is powerful. Swizz Beats and all these brothers. Busta Rhymes, you know, Wise Intelligent. Man, brother, all of them Common, you know, all of them Most Def, you know, all these brothers, Talib Kweli, everybody, brother, very powerful. And so I plan probably to do more work in that arena, speaking about their spirituality. Like you had the great Erica, but I love what Swizz is doing with the verses, right?
Me too.
Then you see our brother. I don't know if you saw this, but I don't know. Well, yeah. It's so much stuff I can say, but yeah, it's a lot of brothers and sisters that are very powerful dealing with it. And now you hear the language more, and you're going to start to hear it more, I believe. Yes, and that's a result of the work, you know, I think that we're doing and those ancestors before us have done.
Praise be to
And
Allah.
brother, we can't quit 5 minutes before the miracle.
Yes,
My
sir.
man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mhm. Yes, sir.
Beautiful. Okay, well, Brother Wakeel, what has been your greatest trial in your tenure growing up, and how have you overcome that trial?
Um, I'm the kind of person, the way I'm built, and all the brothers around me, my close brothers, will probably say the same of me. Because if somebody wrongs me or something like that, not that I'll forget it, but I'll almost forget it.
Mm,
You know what I mean?
mm.
Whereas I just have a certain level of love and compassion for our people.
Beautiful.
Whereas, as the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan told us, per what he got from Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who we got from Allah in person, to take plenty,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So any trial to me normally is just everyday experience, so I'm the kind of person that's not shocked by a lot, because we already signed up for this. We had a knowledge of self. And once we read Fall of America and the Holy Quran, as we've done during this Ramadan,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
anything can happen. We're in the midst of a pandemic, so this is a trial.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just like, to me, it's just like before the pandemic. So it's kind of like, okay, any day, anything could happen. But I have been tried, for sure. And I always joke, and people will joke on it too, as it relates to me. Um, no good deed goes unpunished, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So yeah, so I deal a lot in a sense with that. And because of my work, if you got anything out in the public arena out there, it'll be praised and criticized. So I have very staunch critics, um, trolls, internet trolls, I get threats and stuff,
Yeah.
you get all kinds of stuff. You deal with all kind of stuff. But as we was taught in the street, the one thing that Clarence 13 exit to say, well, bring it on, lollipop. You know what I mean? Bring it on, brother. You got beef.
Yes, sir.
It is what it is. We here for it. We there for a while. So it's kind of like we teach and we instruct everybody. We're very lenient. So any trial, I come into the understanding of that, that is the trial, and Allah will see us through the trial. And I believe Allah will see me through any trial. And again, if Allah doesn't, my life and death sacrifice is all for Allah, the Lord of all of the worlds. That's something
Yes,
that I
sir.
have
Yes, sir.
accepted. But I'm so excited that I
Two.
have lived the amount of years that I've lived, brother. So I'm happy. Every day on the planet, I'm happy. So even if it's a bad day, it's a good day. And as you see, the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan, as he goes through his trials and tribulations, man, brother. I mean, the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan just turned 87, right? 1933. Yeah, 87. And
Yes, sir.
look at the work he does, brother. Man. He took away every excuse from every brother.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
But there's no excuses you can give.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Once you see the
Okay,
work
Brother
he
Wakeel,
does.
Yes, sir. I just have a few. I see you all's comments and thank you all. But I just have a few more questions for you, sir. Do you mind?
Oh, yes, sir. No problem, brother.
Okay, yes, sir. What has been your greatest joy?
Again, brother, it's the same. Like, I hate to sound one track. They like, this brother is a zealot. And we all zealots.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, brother, my greatest joy is this.
Okay. Okay, beautiful.
But now, and I say that to say this, of course, I'm dealing with the human families of the planet Earth. I'm dealing with my people, my family, there's the greatest joys, and then the brotherhood, the sisterhood, and just enjoying this beautiful planet. I've been blessed to travel the world and see the world. There's more parts of the world that I want to see. And as we say, we have an eternal saying in our law team, in a sense, that there's nowhere else for us to go. We've met, we got the number one man on the planet, our opinion is Brother Farrakhan. So we with God's man. Where else we gonna go besides that? In the entertainment world, the greatest entertainers, then we know the elites in the elite world from all human families, including the white world, because many of them are attracted to the knowledge. Many of them are attracted on the entertainment side. Then, of course, last but definitely not least, the brother and sister in the community. We in tune with the brothers and sisters in the community. We Black in America. And even though it has its challenges, like a t-shirt says, I wouldn't want to be anything else but Black here in America, because we are the chosen people of God, the real children of Israel. Hey, man, that right there makes me happy. Even knowing if I die today, even knowing that the Nation of Islam is going to make it, I die a happy man. So
beautiful.
It's win-win, brother. It's win-win.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to write a book, personal life? Like your journey, like just so we can know you, not like a history book about 5% of the FOI, like an autobiography, if you would.
I don't know. If for whatever reason, if it serves a purpose, probably. But no, I have no intention at all. But if I was to write something, it would be about, my brothers and sisters. It's that's just how I am.
Okay,
and maybe my involvement with it, but it would be like in all of my books, I'm not just the author, but everybody that got a statement in there. So you might got in one of my books, I may have 100 different references, 400 or 500, references, right? So that's how many people are just involved in it. And that's kind of what my life would be. It would be about the village, because the first thing that we learn about the knowledge of self is the knowledge of others. And the knowledge of yourself is your own kind too. And the 5%, the one thing that Brother Clarence 13X gave us was supreme mathematics and the supreme alphabet, which is something that's a great tool to use, especially as a young person.
Yes, sir.
It's almost like a glossary of terms and definitions that you find in the language of the teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And the 19th degree, if you will, of the supreme alphabet is S. S is the 19th letter, and that's self a savior. And you hear Honorable Elijah Muhammad talk about self-savior, theology of time. And
yes, sir.
In the definition of self-savior, it says self is the true reality of one, also kind when advocated for the same cause, So to know myself is to know my brother. That's why what I want for myself, I want for my brother. And every time I look at my brother, as we say in the Nation of Islam, I'm looking at a reflection of myself. And Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, every time I look at a Black man, I'm looking at God. So the first commandment is what? From our brother, Jesus.
Yes, sir.
Love God with all your heart.
Yes,
love yourself, love your family, love your people, and love those who have the same common cause that are dealing with freedom, teaching, freedom, justice, and equality.
Beautiful.
Yes.
What do you want your legacy to be, Brother Wakeel?
That's a good question, brother. I don't these things. I don't really think of myself too much. And but a lesson that I'm learning from here, brother, from this interview is that I need to give myself some thought. You know what I mean? I need to think about what I'm gonna do. Because like I said, I'm always thinking about, and that's my name, Wakeel. A Wakeel, and I got that name, when I was 13, 14 years old, and I just kept the name, and I love the name because I think part of it does, not part of it, all of it, from what I know, resonates with me. It's a trustee, like somebody you can trust to manage your affairs. So I'm constantly one. And I just say this because, speak the truth regardless of whom or what. I don't want to sound like I'm trying to be arrogant or nothing like that. Um, but that's my reputation as one that can be trusted to manage others' affairs. And if you kind of built like that, you think a lot of others, and you think of
Mm,
yourself as an
mm,
instrument in a sense to be used to help facilitate others. And within that, if you are built for that, you get a joy out of that, So I'm usually in the background, you know. So the brothers that I'm with are all, much more popular than I am. And then you got some brothers that's
mm,
even in the
mm,
background
mm,
of what I'm doing. And they really play the background, but are extremely
mm,
powerful.
mm.
We are all equal. Um,
Allahu
so
Akbar.
yeah, I think my legacy is, as we say in the Nation of Islam, these things sound like cliche, but it's the truth. The number one title that I want, is brother and Muslim. Um, and
Mm.
in that, I think I'll be known as a human being. And if you're righteous, you'll impact somebody down the line. So I may not write on myself, but somebody may mention me somewhere down the line. So that may
Yes, sir. Yes,
happen,
sir. Yes,
brother.
sir.
Um, but yes, but the legacy is that I love my people, and I was willing to sacrifice for my people and share the information that I believe is valuable to our people. And the most valuable thing is the word of God. That's not necessarily something that's extremely religious, but it can be proven in no limited time. And in
That's
North
right. That's
America,
right. That's right.
all of the people have done that, So yeah, so we've all been influenced by the teachings that started right there in Black Bottom, Michigan, that was shared with us with the stranger who came,
Yes,
was
sir.
named
Yes,
Wallace.
sir.
They said that means
Yes,
hey.
sir.
They said by the time he left, some referred to him as Wali, right? Your friend, your friend, your best friend. Um, so yes, sir.
Okay, excellent. If you have anything that you're working on that you want to tell us that we can support you with.
Um, well, with the existing, like the existing, what I have, because people always ask me, when are you going to write volume 2 of the
Yes,
history of
sir.
the
Yes, sir.
Nation
Yes,
of
sir.
Islam? Not joking. I say, well, when they accept the first one.
Yes, sir. How can we get
So,
that, Brother Wakeel? How can we order that?
um, the name of the now I just gonna have to refer to it, but it's the history of the Nation of Islam, Volume 1. So this is the book, that brothers and sisters can pick up if they want to know the early history of the Nation of Islam, as told by the pioneers themselves and those that was there. So it was all written firsthand by those that was there, including some of the letters of Master Farah Muhammad, of course, the Honorable
Allahu
Elijah
Akbar.
Muhammad, his family, Sister Clara Muhammad, the first
Yes,
national
sir.
laborers, some of the first converts, the students of Master Muhammad and Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So the book goes from 1930 to 1950, and it's really a good foundation. Like I said, history is best qualified to what I research is the most
Yes, sir. Yes,
attractive.
sir.
Um, so it also says it acts powerfully on the destinies of human beings, and this is part of our destiny. So we have to learn our history. And from that,
Absolutely.
brother, comes greatness. So they can get that on Amazon, or they can go directly to our website, theallahteam.com / books. So allahteam.com / books. I have it on there. But it's on Amazon. It's pretty much on all the platforms. And then, of course, I have In the Name of Allah, the book, or the history of the 5%ers, Volume 1 and the Volume 2. And I
Yes, sir.
think
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
definitely that marriage of the 5%ers and the Nation of Islam, that I think definitely is a valuable tool to have and to read. And the thing that I like
Absolutely.
about this is it show you what, like we always say, well, if you love Brother Farrakhan, if you love Malcolm X, if you love Muhammad Ali, you should love the teacher, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, right? Because he the one that made all these powerful people. And us understanding that, then we look at students and who the students inspired, other students. So I think this is a great narrative and an adventure of what you know, one FOI or a couple of FOI and MGT can do, you know, out in the community. Just
Yes,
knocking on
sir.
the doors, you know, hey brother, how you doing? You know, buy somebody a cup of coffee, whatever it may be,
Yes, sir.
right? Just like Ramadan, you know, do charitable acts,
Yes, sir.
uh, deal with equality. And that's one of the first things I learned in Islam, by the way. As a young person, I was like, you know, stingy. So I had kind of spirit of being stingy because, you know, it wasn't that you got a lot, you know, coming up, you know, coming up, it wasn't like we had whatever we wanted to get.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And when I came into Islam, like that thing where we say, if you got a bowl of soup, then your brother has half of that bowl of soup. That
Yes,
was
sir.
like
Yes, sir.
literal. So when I saw brothers 13 or 14 sharing what they had to eat with me, if I didn't have any money, I said, oh man, I'm with this right here, you know? Um, so yes, sir. So very powerful. You know, this is a very powerful adventure. And so I have the books. Then of course, inshallah, you know, I'll be dealing with the Fifth Element, you know, that podcast,
Yes,
and
sir. Yes, sir.
bring back the narratives, the Five Percenters, the history of the Nation of Islam, the Allah Team show, and also just probably helping out in the entertainment industry from a business perspective. Yeah, working with brothers and sisters in that community, and also from a spiritual perspective, you know, for sure, primarily, would probably be my role in working with brothers and sisters. And just continue with our publications, you know, 18 Publishing, working with brother Dr. Wesley Muhammad, brother Malud Sadiq Allah, brother Understanding Allah, brother J Electronica, brother Law, Lawrence X Parker, all of our community, brother Allah Malik, who's Minister Michael of Atlantic City, Minister Michael T. Muhammad, the
Okay. Yes,
great
sir.
number 10, the great brother minister Randy Muhammad, you know, Boston number 11,
Yes, sir.
working with brother minister Henry Muhammad, you know, inshallah, being more involved. I'm here in Atlanta right
Yes,
now,
sir.
being more involved here in Atlanta and getting some of that expertise and great, powerful information from your father, the great minister
Praise
Sharif,
be to Allah. Yes, sir.
who was so inspiring, brother, because in having the conversations with him and just his ability to organize and to create businesses and the knack for that, you know what I mean? He's such a self-starter. Um, beloved brother, with the Captain Oliver. You know, Atlanta is such a beautiful place that I love being here. Now I can travel back and forth, but I really love Atlanta and still have roots, you know, in Atlanta. It's just a beautiful place, brother. And so the podcast, I don't know if it'll be here. It might be here in Atlanta, where I'm at now, or it could be up in New York, New Jersey, or maybe Chicago. So it depends. Or you can just be traveling like this, and just how you can do it. You don't even need a studio, and especially now with the quarantine, you really
Yes,
don't
sir.
need
Yes,
it.
sir. Yes, sir.
Um, so yes, sir. So that'd be the books, the literature, and inshallah, you know, I'm going to do more books for sure. I might have some smaller projects as it relates to books. Then I'll tackle the history of Nation Islam, Volume 2, which will go from 1950 to 1975, Volume 3 from 1976 on to the present. Yes, sir. And just really trying
Beautiful.
to lend our expertise in the Nation of Islam and nation building and what needs to be done. Because it's such a powerful potential in the Nation of Islam. We're in every community, you know. We have, it's like the lesson. Some people lessons in the Lost Farmer semester number 1. It's a 6 question normally with the lessons that we have.
Yes, sir.
Why does the devil call our people African, and talks about the slave trader
Yes, sir.
setting up
Yes, sir.
a trading post on the continent? Well, we have a righteous trading post in each city
Yes, sir.
called the mosque in each city,
Yes, sir.
which really is centers like the national center.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's Mosque Mariam, it's Mosque number 2, but it's also the national center.
Yes, sir.
And there's other centers. So the mosque, in a sense, is the center of the city. It's like a settlement, like it says in the problem
Yes,
book.
sir.
So it's not even necessarily the mosque, it's the city. So you're the minister of the mosque, you're the minister of a mosque, you're a minister over a city, right?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
outside of the confines of the four walls that we have, and we need to get to the point where we can just build even better what we currently have. And every year, isn't it great at Savings Day, the graduation? I'm so happy
Yes,
that
sir. Yes,
we
sir.
have that. That's one of the
Yes, sir.
joys, brother. Seeing that. Brothers and sisters looking good, man.
Yes, sir.
Sharp, polished, clean, bright.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Graduate the mosque. Yes, sir. So those are the things, brother. And I'm on social media. Wakeel, Wakeel, Allah. So all my social media, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and really, I'm not that much almost active on mine as I should be, because I also work in conjunction from my digital marketing perspective. And well, a lot of people know this, some people don't. But of course, I have the law team, and then we have the 5%ers platform. Then we have the Black Muslim Cultural Renaissance platform. So me and Brother
Okay.
Wesley, together started that, the Black Muslim Cultural Renaissance. You may see that, and that's dealing with the culture of all of
Okay.
us.
I never. I didn't know that was you. I didn't know that was you.
Yes, brother. So,
Yes, sir.
and
I
there's
didn't
a
know that was
group
you.
of
I didn't know that was you.
all those are powered by the law team, if you will. So those platforms. Then of course Dr. Wesley Muhammad. Um, so yeah, so you'll see I more so deal a lot on that end too. So I'm heavily involved in that side. So I'll be working with the branding with the law team in the Black Muslim Culture Renaissance. And with the 5%ers, we always wanted to have an event, and Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan spoke to this, whereas we'll have a gathering with the 5%ers, brothers and sisters, in the Nation of Islam. We were going to do it, and inshallah, ultimately we'll be able to do it. And we, of course, wanted Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan to speak to the brothers and sisters, which he said publicly, he would do. And of course, he desires to do that because of the connection that's there. Since a great marriage. And inshallah, we'll do that with the Nation of Islam and the 5%ers, which also includes the family of Brother Clarence 13X Smith, the Smith family. They're all in the Nation of Islam. So like Brother Clarence comes from the Nation of Islam. So they identify as Nation of Islam, Muslim, and 5%. So they'll be heavily involved with the aspect of the 5%ers platform in some of these movements around that, and preserving the legacy and the history of Brother Clarence 13X Smith, the Father Allah. Because that's his name. His name in the mosque in the temple, Brother Clarence 13X, when he was outside of the temple, started teaching his students. Well, before he started teaching, he took on the name Allah. Then they called him the Father. So you hear all those names, street name Puddin, honorable name Clarence Smith, Muslim name Clarence 13X, and the founder of the 5% is Allah the Father. And whatever else we can do. So, and I work, I always got my hand in some pot out here, brother, doing a lot of different things. I do a lot of different things, work with a lot of different elements. Like I said, more in the background. And one of the things I want to shout out is Brother Bernard, Brother Bernard Kushmir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And Brother Bernard, I remember, being at his place when he first created the Final Call online. And when he did, and that's the Million Man March. How can I forget that? 1994, 1995 is when Bernard introduced me to the internet. Hey man, you familiar with this? We in there, Bernard, he was at college, I believe, taking up computer science at Morehouse. And so he was like, this right here is the future. Websites, boom, boom, boom. He was like, and I'm doing this for the nation. Doing the Final Call online. and the nationofislam.org. So he did that. Brother Bernard
Praise be
Kushner
to God.
did that.
Yes, sir. I see him
to this
backstage
day,
every year. Save his name.
to this day he do it.
Yes,
So
sir, I
he's
see him.
very instrumental, and I like brainstorming with him on that side. And I always felt like, man, you know what? I would like to be dedicated on that side, on the digital side, with all these different ideas. Yes, sir.
Beautiful. Well,
Trying to keep
thank
up
you,
with you, brother Joshua.
Ah,
Yes, sir.
that's Brother Wakeel, please, I want to thank you for your sacrifice. Thank your family for their sacrifice. And we just want to continue to support and man, show love. That you do such a good job of bridging everything and just being by just your personality and your energy that anytime I have a
let me say this
something,
too,
I can
brother,
go
because
to
I
you.
don't know why. Let me say this because I can't leave this out. Because I spoke about the 5%ers, spoke about the Nation of Islam, but we also do a lot of work with the community of Imam W.D. Muhammad too. So in my research, I'm constantly working with the brothers of the masjids throughout the country. We just recently had the passing of one of our beloved elders, Brother Osman Sharif, also known as Brother Frank 9X.
Yes, sir, I saw that.
They call him from out of Newark.
Yes, sir.
And that was mosque number 25, now known as Masjid Ali K Muslim on South Orange Avenue. So even the brothers here, the Masjid,
yes, sir.
Atlanta Masjid of Al Islam. So, because we said bridge the gap, that's one of the things that we do. So we kind of intersect, the, of course, Nation of Islam community, 5% community, then like under Imam W.D. Muhammad, I guess someone would say Bilalian community, then even like the Sunni community. So that's always funny because my name is Wakeel Allah, which is like sacrilege in some cases. But this is what I found out in visiting these different masters, because at first I was like, let me go in here, let me just tell them, let me share with them Black Arabia, the African origin of Islam. Brother Dr. Wis Muhammad, profound book. And I would go in these different masjids in the country, and I would tell them about the book, and they was already familiar with Brother Dr. Wis Muhammad. And I didn't realize that they too was familiar with me, because like I said, I'm not thinking about me, I'm thinking about my brother and the work that he could do to help prolong, the efforts and just my profound brothers and sisters that I have around me. And it was like, well, my brother, you wrote that book on the 5%ers, didn't you? They had a book on the Nation of Islam. Brother, where that book? I was like, I didn't bring that with. That's outside in the car.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
After a few trips, I learned to bring that with me. Because then I learned that all these brothers and sisters in the Sunni community or the Orthodox Muslim community, and of course the Bilalian community or the followers of Imam W.D. Muhammad, all have origins in the Nation of Islam. And sometimes on the outward appearance, you wouldn't think that.
That's right.
But their mind and their heart was still there. And that's kind of once there for a while, always there for a while. Once an MGT,
yes, sir.
Always an MGT. It is good being around those brothers and sisters because they often talk about what they learned through the Nation of Islam and how they still regard themselves as such. So I do a lot of work over there too. And I love hearing, the brothers and sisters speaking of their experiences with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan came to Newark, and he didn't come to Masjid, I don't believe. If he did, I wasn't aware of it. But we all were there. Minister Ishmael, of course, Imam Sultan, our great dear brother Imam Sultan, Abdul Rahman.
Yes, sir.
So through learning from them, and we're all connected, like we're all family at the end of the day. All these different communities, we literally have family ties, like blood related.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We're together, and that's part of the Black Muslim cultural renaissance. We're together. This generation is together. We're not tripping. We're not set tripping. Yeah, right. We're not set tripping, brother. Praise be to Allah. So it is about the unity.
Okay. Thank you, sir, and thank you for keeping up the pray. That's right. That's right. That's right. Well, please keep up the great work, Brother Wakeel, and thank you again for Brother Wakeel Allah, and thank you for coming on the People's Podcast. Thank you all for watching. Like, subscribe, and share. We're gonna put this on YouTube. And Brother Wakeel, I'll talk to you offline because anything that you're doing that I can help and be a part of, I'm trying to support.
Yes, sir. Thank you, beloved. And
Thank you.
likewise, brother, always inspired by the work that you do. And the theatrical work is what I want to get more in tune with. What you doing, brother.
I got some coming. I got something coming, bro.
Yes,
I
sir,
got something
brother.
coming.
Because
Yes, thank you all for
look, you asked me one thing, what do I enjoy? I enjoy plays, brother. Which is rare.
Okay, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I do enjoy that, brother. Yes, sir.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you all for watching and love you, Brother Wakeel. And
yes, sir. Love you too, brother Joshua. Wa alaikum salam.